Hi, so today's question is how to make an image like that, a drawing that you make, a mock-up to say of a card or of some very wise warning message like that is so drunk driving is never a good idea. Um, into something like that, so working Android app that it can be viewed horizontally or vertically. Let's start. Okay, so in order to move your drone image to your phone, you need to have Android Studio installed on your computer. So when you have it open, let's start a new Android Studio project. Then you can give it a name, let's say a card. Then you have your company domain, and if you have a domain, you can make it yours. If not, you can just leave it as it is. And basically you need to press next, choose the API for the device that you want. You can see what API is available for which phone. So basically API 15 is available for all the existing Android phones on the market. However, the almost newest 7.1 Nougat is available only on 1.5% of the devices. But let's stick to API 15 and phone and tablet SDKs. Then, as we are making very simple one, let's stick to empty activity. And this screen can be left as is. Now we have to wait a second to Android Studio to build the project. Okay, so at first Android Studio might be very intimidating for you. However, when you get used to it, it's very simple. But first what we need to do is switch to activity underscore main. Then we have some code already written for us. And if we switch to the design, we can see all the actually views that we can put on our phone. Right now we can see, I don't know whether you can see it, but I can barely see it. Or maybe if I just hello world written, and that is the text view here. That can be also seen in the XML code, as you can see here, hello world. The app that we are going to make can be made actually only by just dragging and dropping the views from this box into that one, but we want to be a professional web developers or actually Android developers, so let's stick to text. The text or the code actually already written here is with the constraint views. However, today we are going to make an app based on relative views. So when we delete that code, all we need is to paste that code provided here. And this is the relative layout with the hello world written. If we switch back to the design, you can see the hello world moved here because there is no sentence of that code. And also we can see the preview here, and it's basically the same. Okay, so to start, first let's basically make a drawable folder with the background image. And when you go to res, which is short for resources, go to drawable and right click it to reveal it in Finder or similar thing in Windows. Then basically the folder is empty, so all you need to do is to put the downloaded image here. As you can see, my image has name car crash, and all with the lowercase, which is very important because you cannot put an uppercase here. Basically drag and drop it here. You can close that window. If you wait a few seconds, then you can see that it is here. Okay, let's delete that text view because we don't want a hello world. And the very important thing is how when you write a certain code, so which is going to be first, is going to be at the bottom, and it is very important later because we want the car crash image to be below the text. Okay, so let's start. This is an image view, so if you type I, and basically auto completes it with image view. And we've got some code written for us, the Android layout view, with some documentation for it. The view should be as big as its parent minus padding, introduced in API level 8. So it should be as big as parent. Okay. So if you want to be as big as parent, so we can be a match parent. Same for the height. And now we actually want to put some source to that code. So we put Android src for the source, and then add drabble dot slash car crash. As you can see, it is without the JPG file extension, and you actually don't need it. It doesn't matter whether it's PNG, JPG, GIF, it's all the same. Okay, but now the image is a bit smaller than we expected it to be, so we need to crop it somehow or make it larger. So Android scale type, and we've got some options. We got center crop, center inside. You can try different ones, but the one that we need right now is center crop. And as you can see, it's filled the whole screen. If you switch the device, then it still filled the whole screen, but in the horizontal view. And that's what we need. If we just stick to the center, then as you can see, it just enlarged the image, didn't make it smaller so that we can actually see what's in the picture. So let's stick with center crop. And I think that it is all that we need to do with the image view. Now we need some text view to put the text. Okay, text view, again, we've got some code written for us, but here we want to have a wrap content so that the view itself will end with the text inside. Okay, Android text. Android text give us an opportunity to put whatever text we want. And basically, today we want to have drunk driving. So that's the first text. But something isn't quite right with it. We want to make it bigger. Android text size. So let's make it bigger. I'd say I want it to be like 24 SP, a little too small, maybe 36 SP. Okay, so we've got a bigger text. Maybe make it a different color. Android text color. Android color. White isn't a good option, maybe blue. Or maybe hollow blue. Again, not a great option. Which color do we want it to be? Maybe pink, if it's available. Okay, red. Red will be great because it's like a stop card, don't do it, so red is connected with stopping. Okay, red is a great choice. And do we want to do something else with it? Let's say we want to change the font family, so the font itself, we don't like the Roboto text font. Oh. Font family. And make it maybe some sans serif, but condensed. Okay, so we've got the first text view. If we make another text view, and here what is also important is if you see the text view, the T and the V is capitalized, and it is very important. The same with all the other letters. The size of the letter matters to the computer. If we make it the text view but with the lower V, it actually, as you can see, had some render errors, missing classes. It doesn't know what to do. Because humans are way smarter than the computers, and we can comprehend what we mean. However, the computers needs a very specific instructions. So that is very important. Okay, so again, wrap content. Wrap content. Okay, then we need some text. So again, Android text equals is never a good idea. But the text overlapped with drunk driving, and it is not good. So if we make the text the same and color, we've got a pretty mess down here. So what we can do with it? We can just maybe drop it down here as in the drawing. It's not basically that hard. Android bottom layout underscore align bottom and make it true. And it's not that. Align parent bottom true. Okay, so now we move it to the downside and then align. And as you can see, the auto completion is very smart. I don't have to start with Android. I can just start typing align, then the parent left, because we want to align to the parent, which is the relative layout, which is basically the whole screen. Okay, align parent right, and make it just true. Is it the end? Not necessarily, because the text is. What I wanted to do is to just put a little bit of padding so that it is, let's say, a little bit above and a little bit to the right of the edges. So, Android padding. And if we put just padding, it had some spacing between all of the edges. You can make, instead of just padding bottom, which will put the padding only on the bottom of the view. But as nothing is above or on the left side of those text views, we can just stick with padding, and let's make it 16 dp. And this here. Okay, so that's basically it. And that's enough. If you have different images, if you have some different text that you want to put, basically change this part. And if you change the image, sorry, I just connected my phone. If you want to change the image, download some different images. You can put it into the drawable folder, as I showed you. Right click it and reveal it in Finder, and then drag and drop the image and change that source image to be something else. It's that simple. And then if you want to see it on your phone, press the play button. It is initializing ADB, and then you can either put it on the virtual emulator or your own device if you plugged it via USB. Let's see it on my phone, because it's very important to check the app that you built on your own phone to see whether it works as you want it to work. It's as you can see, it's building, and it launched on my phone. Okay, drunk driving is never a good idea. I switch it horizontally, and it works as well. So that's it for today's lesson and for this part of the course. Thank you and see you again.